it is Coach Caitlin here. Welcome to Goals with God Show, Moms Edition. We exist to help purpose-driven moms fulfill their God-given purpose. And I am your host, guide, Coach Caitlin, guiding you through this marvelous madness of motherhood and helping you achieve your goals and fulfill the purpose that God has on your life as a mother. If you're tuning in for the first time, I'd love to get to know you and connect with you. Please make sure to visit CoachCaitlin.com and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all Coach Caitlin, Coach with a K. I'd love to stay connected with you and to continue to grow this tribe and community of moms who are on purpose, raising children and also going after their God-given purpose and assignment, which in part is motherhood too. This season, we've been talking a lot about, at the beginning, if you're just tuning in, this is episode 4. If you haven't tuned into any of the other ones, some of the things I'm going to say on here, you have to go back to the very beginning to understand everything I'm saying. So I invite you, whatever network you're watching this on, to make sure that you are watching, you're tuning into all the episodes and go back and watch them. But we've been talking about being intentional. In episode 1, I talked about this whole season, we're going through a teaching. I'm guiding you through this season, how to transform your life and leadership in 60 minutes a day. And this is for mothers, how to transform your life and leadership in 60 minutes a day. Moms, I get it. Finding 60 minutes for yourself, what a dream. What a dream, as you're probably watching this right now, hiding out in your car or somewhere trying to just have a moment to yourself, or it's midnight and you decided to stay up because finally the kids are asleep and you just have a minute for yourself. I get that, but we can make time for ourselves, and we're answering 2 questions this season. Why do we need to grow personally as mothers, and how can we grow personally as mothers? Why do we need to grow personally as mothers, and how do we grow personally as mothers? And I'm breaking this down so that at the end of this season, you're going to be able to walk away by following every single thing in season 1. You're going to be able to walk away with tools to transform your life and your leadership as a mom. You may say, well, I don't lead a big organization, but you do lead your home. You do lead your children. And so these are tools to help you along the way. I told a story, 2 stories actually. One about listening to a podcast that said, how can we teach our children to go after their goals and dreams if we don't go after ours? How can we teach our children to go after their goals and dreams if we don't go after ours? You know, I say this as a believer, even more so. How can we teach our children to go after their God-given purpose if we don't go after ours? Yes, motherhood is a part of our God-given purpose, but God has other assignments for us along the way. You know, when I was in school, I was involved in multiple activities, and guess what? I needed to be involved. I was involved in academics, and I was involved in cheer. I was involved in other sports and clubs. Why? Because we can do more than one thing. If there's any group of people on the face of the planet who can do more than one thing, it is mothers. And God knows that. He uniquely wired us to be able to be purposeful moms, but also fulfill our God-given purpose, additional God-given purposes. And honestly, as mothers, I mean, I can say this as a side note. I've never learned how hard I can do so much with one hand as I have since becoming a mother. It's amazing. It's amazing. So we've been talking about that, and I talked about a story about how I was intending to drive to a church, but I zoned out driving and went to Planet Fitness. And that's how it is in life. So often as moms, as working women, as women who really want to fulfill our God-given purpose, a lot of times we will intend to go to the church per se. We will intend to have this particular destination, but what happens is we get so busy and reactive in our lives, and we zone out and we end up at the place of comfort, aka our Planet Fitness. And remember, reactive days lead to reactive lives. But proactive days lead to potential lives where we fulfill our potential. Because remember, you live with one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And that's what we have to do. So we've been going through, we opened that up in episode 1. Then in episode 2, I've been sharing why do we need to grow. And I've been sharing the 5 laws that I connect with the most out of my mentor, John Maxwell's book, The 15 Valuable Laws of Growth. And I've also written a book on this topic called Habits Not Hopes, which you can find out about at CoachCaitlin.com. But in episode 2, we talked about the law of intentionality. The law of intentionality. Growth doesn't just happen. We have to be intentional about growing. So the first law of growth is the law of intentionality. We have to be intentional about growing. Change is automatic. Growth is optional. We're all going to get older. Our children are all going to get older, but are we going to grow? Or are we just going to change? So we have to have the law of intentionality. Number 2, what we learned about in episode 3, our last episode, was the law of awareness. You must know yourself to grow yourself. Remember that if we are going to teach our children to become great things, if we are going to help them become all they can be in God, we have to be aware of maybe some of the good that we can portray before them and some of the bad we could put on them. Because if we're not aware of that, we'll be like those American Idol singers whose parents told them they could sing and they really couldn't. We don't want to do that. We want to be intentional about what we want to display as an example to our children and in our life. So we have to have the law of awareness. We have to know ourselves to grow ourselves. And today, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the 3rd law. So we're going over 5 in this season. Number 1, the law of intentionality. Number 2, the law of awareness. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about the law of the mirror. The law of the mirror. You must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. You must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. I love what Zig Ziglar says. He says, it is impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves. I'm going to say that again. It is impossible to consistently behave in a manner inconsistent with how we see ourselves. We can do very few things in a positive way if we feel negative about ourselves. I love a way somebody else says it. They say, belief determines behavior. If you see a woman who seems beat down, who seems depressed, who seems like she's let herself go, who seems overwhelmed, that means that she does not believe in herself. Have you ever seen a woman who just had no confidence? Have you ever felt like a woman without confidence? I think we've all had those moments. And you just see her and you just want to, growing up, I was a cheerleader in college, and so all the time I'm wanting to like perk people up, like, hey girl, lift that head up, let's do this. And if that's you and you're feeling down today, I am your cheerleader through this screen saying, girl, pick your head up, you got this, you've got to believe in yourself. And have you ever seen somebody who has been confident? Can you just think of that one woman, you're just like, she is like so values herself, and not in an arrogant way, but in just they're truly confident when they walk into a room. They have value in themselves. You can see that they value themselves. Do you know anybody like that? And when you see that person, you're like, sometimes you're either like, that is goals, #goals. You know, that's the new thing. That's what the kids are saying these days. #goals. They are somebody you want to be like. In Hebrews 10, it says, cast not away your confidence. I believe that we must look in the law of the mirror and see value in ourselves, because God sees values in us. God sees value in us. In Jeremiah, it says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew and approved of you. In Psalm, it says, he knit me together in my mother's womb. He knit me together in my mother's womb, which means you have value because you were handcrafted by the creator of the universe. I think about it because I think as women, a lot of times it's hard for us to see value in ourselves because there's two battles that we face. One, we truly don't see value in ourselves. We've had tough upbringings. We've had people who tell us terrible things. We've had difficult circumstances. Life has beat us down because it'll do this. Maybe you used to have huge dreams and huge confidence, but things have happened in life and you feel beat down and you feel discouraged. That's one way. Number two is that you genuinely have just had a tough time these past few days and you've lost your confidence and you've lost value in yourself. And you feel almost as if you have too much value in yourself, you feel guilty. Oh, I'm too cocky, or I'm too arrogant, or, women are going to think that I'm just all about myself, or I'm bougie. Have you ever heard that? I'm too cocky, I'm too this. No. Hebrews tells us to cast not away our confidence. God wants you as a woman to walk in confidence. Why? Because He handcrafted you. And whenever we look in the mirror and we don't see value, when we don't believe in ourselves, it hurts God. When we don't think that we are the mother that our children need us to be, that God made us their mother. He didn't give that child to anybody else. He gave that child to you. We have to begin. We hurt God's heart. And you're handcrafted. Let me tell you this. Lean in. Grab your coffee. You have incredible value. I like to explain it like this. So I love a good handbag. Anybody else? Hello. I love a good handbag. And so as good daughters do, a few years ago, I went into my mom's closet and went through her purses because I didn't feel like going shopping and getting a new one. I just knew that she had so many that she wouldn't miss it. And so, while she was out of town on a trip, Mom, if you're watching this, yeah, I haven't returned it. I kept it. I'm sorry. But I went into her closet, and on the top shelf, there were just all these handbags. And I was looking through, and all of a sudden, because one of my favorite designers, I have two top purse designers, Chanel and Louis Vuitton. Like, I love a Louis Vuitton. This is just like classic. It's like that and Ralph Lauren. It's just like things that are timeless. And so I went and I was digging, and my mom had an authentic Louis Vuitton in the bottom of the shelf, buried under things, the bottom of the shelf. I was like, is she kidding me? And I was like, is this thing real, or did she like get this on like Canal Street in New York City? If you've never heard of Canal Street, it's like where the knockoff brands are. Oh no, honey. No. I looked, and so Louis Vuitton uses one material. It was the one material. It was an authentic Louis Vuitton handbag, just a beautiful classic one. I texted my mom. I was like, Donna. I didn't say mom. You know when you talk to your mom and you have to call her by the first name because it's so serious? I said, Donna, what? Why did you have a Louis Vuitton bag buried in the bottom of the closet? Where did this come from? And she said that when my first Christmas, I won't tell you when that was, but my very first Christmas, my dad's mom gave her one for Christmas. And I was like, well, essentially then that's mine because it was the first Christmas. So it has to be mine because, of course, it belongs to me. She just gave it to you because you were my mother. So anyway, so my mom was like, yeah, whatever, you can have it. Point being, I still have that bag today. I love it. It was many years ago, a couple of decades ago, that bag was even gifted brand new. And then I have like a stack of bags. I've gotten a Charlotte Russe when that was around, Dillard's, different places. Those TJ Maxx. Hello, Max and Nieces. I want to give a shout out. That is not a paid ad. That is I go in there and I tend to go to the purse aisle when I don't need to. And those bags, so I tell you this to say I was doing a research because I'm big into reselling my items. I'm done with it. Let me sell it online, yard sale, whatever it is. And what was so interesting is that the handbags that were made from manufacturers in TJ Maxx, they put it through the assembly line. They depreciated in value like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They were $40 there. They probably sell for 10. But that Louis Vuitton, I researched it. I still have it, but I researched it. That handcrafted bag, because all of them are handcrafted, hand sewn, had not depreciated in value at all since several decades ago. Why? Because it's a handcrafted masterpiece. And that's what I want you to understand, Mama. You're a handcrafted masterpiece. Yeah, your kids are awesome, but you are too. It's okay to be someone who believes in yourself because God created you. You need to look in the mirror and begin to believe in yourself again. You need to look in the mirror. I don't care if you have to put sloppy sticky notes all up on that mirror. You know what? It'd be great for your daughter to come in and see that mom has positive notes about herself on her mirror. It'd be great for your son to come in and see mom has great quotes, great scriptures on her mirror, speaking life into herself. Because guess what? And let me tell you this. The law of the mirror. You need to value yourself to add value to yourself. You need to value yourself to add value to yourself. This world is going to try to bring you down. They're so good at it. I mean, can't we all as moms feel so good about ourselves? We are just rocking it out. It's such a great day. And then you get on Facebook and somebody else did something better with their kids. They took them to pre-K at the right time. They took them on a trip. I don't know why these nails are making me get so whatever, but they took them to all these right places, that they got into the gym for 3 hours and they've lost all the baby weight, and you're just like, I still look pregnant and it's 6 months later. I feel you. Everybody else does it better, but we have to begin to value ourselves and begin to speak life over ourselves. You know, God values you, and this is why it's so important. This is why it's so important to value yourself, ladies, because you must value yourself to add value to yourself. Psalm 139 23 says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." Basically, David, a man after God's own heart, was saying, hold a mirror to me, God, and search me. Let me know my thoughts. And when I read this verse and I realize that David was a man after God's own heart, what comes to mind for me and as fellow mother with you is that I need to hold the mirror up in my heart and realize my thoughts, because we can think the worst thoughts about ourselves, can't we? Oh, I suck as a mom. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I'm not achieved. I'm dumb. My hair's ugly. I have wrinkles. My teeth are crooked. Everybody else is doing this but me, and we can begin to compare. But you have to, the law of the mirror, you have to see value in yourself to add value to yourself. And what I want to encourage you, why is this so important? You know, I have the incredible privilege of coaching women one-on-one. I get to help them reach their goals, whether that's writing a book, speaking, cleaning their house, dieting. I get to walk alongside them. And you know what I found is that all of these women would not have achieved these goals if they would not have begin to value themselves. Belief determines behavior. If they would not begin to believe in themselves. I think about one of my clients, her name is Pamela. And Pamela came out of a domestic abusive situation. Her value was brought down to the lowest point. But because she began to turn her life around, the law of the mirror, and began to value herself as a daughter of the King, she has turned that around and she's written 2 books that are encouraging women, encouraging moms. She now volunteers at a domestic abuse organization that allows her to tell her story of overcoming abuse and getting out of that situation. She now has 2 great sons and great grandchildren. She owns a business. She is using the power of Vision Board to encourage other women. And what I think about is how many women that Pamela has helped. She's helped so many women, but guess what? Those women were waiting on Pamela to value herself, because if Pamela had not stood up, taken the law of the mirror and began to value herself, she would have never added value to herself, got out of that domestic situation, hired a coach, began to go after her dreams. And guess what? If Pamela hadn't done that, those women that became free on the other side of Pamela's obedience, they would not have fulfilled their purpose. What you need to understand is that when the enemy allows you to not value yourself, it stops you from going after your purpose. And when you stop going after your purpose, it stops the plan of God. And when you stop the plan of God, other people's lives are in the balance. Even in this, some of you are hearing this today, and you're honestly, you're being reminded right now, I need to begin to value myself. I need to begin to believe in myself. And what's that going to do? Belief determines behavior. Now you're going to start believing in yourself because of the law of the mirror, and you're going to start adding value to yourself. And you're going to begin to say, I want to be a woman who walks in purpose. And you're going to begin to feel that God-given purpose. And guess what? God's getting so excited because there are people waiting on you to fulfill your purpose. See, I've talked to so many women who say, it's selfish for me to go after my purpose when I have kids. No, it's selfish to not go after your God-given purpose, because guess what? People are waiting on you. People are waiting on you. Yes, your kids are waiting on you, but if God's called you to write a book, then guess what? You need to do that on top of being a mom, because there are people waiting on the words that God's going to give to you that are going to set them free to fulfill their purpose. See, I believe that God, when we get to heaven, the only way we're going to hear, well done, good and faithful servant, is if we begin to believe in ourselves and say, yes, God has a purpose and a plan for me. And I believe deeply, I'm saying this as your friend, your mama friend, drinking your cold coffee, hair pulled up in a messy bun. Again, you might be hiding in the bathtub right now. You need to begin to look in the mirror and begin to value yourself again. You need to realize who you are in God, who He's made you to be, and that, yes, motherhood, it's an incredible purpose, but you need to tap in and say, God, what else is there for me? What else is there for me? You have to begin to value yourself so you can add value to yourself, because there are people waiting on you to begin to walk in your assignment. There are people waiting on you to fulfill your purpose. Guess what? Other people's purpose depends on you fulfilling your purpose. What about that? Other people's purpose depends on you fulfilling your purpose. I can tell you this. I'm sitting here today, woke up early, dealt with a fussy baby, drank coffee, spilt it all down me while I was on the interstate to get here to film. My hair feels nappy. I am tired, but guess what? I know that I have to add value to myself because God values me, and that by me fulfilling my purpose, you can't fulfill if I wasn't going to fulfill my purpose today, it would hinder you from fulfilling yours. It's selfish to not fulfill your God-given purpose. What about that? So go after your God-given purpose. Make sure we stay connected. Remember, this season we're focused on how to transform our life and leadership in 60 minutes a day for mom. We're going to walk away at the end of this season knowing why we need to grow personally and how we grow personally. So far, what we've learned is that we can either live with the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. We can either intentionally go after going to the church, like I mentioned before. Again, if you don't know what that is, you got to watch episode 1. Intentionally going to the church that we went after, that we want to go to, or we'll end up at Planet Fitness, the place of comfort, because we zone out in life. Don't do that. Don't be reactive and end up in regret. Be proactive and you will fulfill your potential. We're learning the 5 laws of growth. So far, we've learned about the law of intentionality. Growth isn't automatic. We've learned about the law of awareness. You must know yourself to grow yourself. And today we talked about the law of the mirror. You must value yourself to add value to yourself. Remember this, people are waiting on you to fulfill your God-given purpose. Their purpose is dependent upon you fulfilling yours, even your children. I would love to stay connected in this community. If you would share this show with somebody you know, share this network with somebody you know. Visit me at CoachCaitlin.com. I'd love to connect with you on social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Remember, we have goals with God. This is the Moms Edition, and we are here to help you be purpose-driven moms fulfilling your God-given purpose. I'll see you next time.